Okay, so we are live on Facebook and YouTube now. Good evening and greetings to all our venerable monks, and we don't have nuns today, and to all our friends who are watching us online on YouTube and Facebook, and also who are here with us on Zoom platform. Let us begin the discussion by paying respect and homage to the Buddha. Let us recite Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. I pay my respect and homage to him, the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened Buddha. Okay, so let us begin our discussion by introducing our venerable monks to the audience. And today we do not have that many venerables. This is because everybody is busy with their own Katina ceremonies, marking the end of the rain retreat, the Vasa. But today we are very happy for the fact that at least some venerable monks were able to join this discussion. In fact, we were going to have this bi-weekly discussion last week. Then last weekend, almost all monks were very busy, so we have postponed it to today. And even this week, monks are busy, but we need to have this discussion. So today we have Venerable Kamalasiri Thera joining the discussion from Minnesota. In fact, he was here last week with us for our cutting ceremony, and it was amazing to see you, Bante Kamalasiri, after such a long time, 30 years. We had good time. We shared a lot of experiences. You told a lot of stories, and it was fascinating. It was a good time we had together. And then we have a venerable Bante Nanda. Actually, he's on the move. He's on the road today. He's going from one Katina ceremony to another, from Florida to Pennsylvania right now. But Bante, thank you for joining the discussion from the highway in the United States. But he's from Long Island, New York. And then we have Venerable Trudeau joining the discussion from Florida. So thank you for joining the discussion. And then we have Bante Kusala joining the discussion from Boston. And then we have Bante Jayasara joining the discussion from New Jersey. Then we have Venerable Shanta Sobana joining the discussion from Los Angeles. And then we have Bante Somavangsha, Digale Somavangsha joining the discussion from Vancouver, Canada. And then we also have Bante Jinananda, but he did not put the come on yet. He's from Ottawa, Canada. And also we have some devotees on Zoom platform. Shali from Seattle, David from Kitchener-Waterloo, and Maria from Nova Scotia, Halifax, Nova Scotia. And we would like to give a warm Dhamma of greetings and welcome to our venerable monks for joining this discussion. And we are going to have amazing discussion on the sutra. And we also would like to give a warm welcome to our devotees and friends who are watching this program on Facebook and YouTube Live. So today we are going to discuss a sutra known as the Kodhana Sutta, the discourse on anger. So the topic is the an angry person's 7 types of harmful and wishful thinking. And so based on this wishful thinking, maybe we can expand we can share our knowledge, tell some stories, and there's no particular structure of today's discussion. Maybe, based on these teachings found in the sutta, you can tell us some stories. Maybe you can share your insights with respect to this wishful thinking of an angry person. So to give us a summary of this sutta, I would like to begin with Bhante Kusala from Boston. And before he speaks, I would like to kindly encourage our friends who are watching this program on Facebook and YouTube Live. If you don't mind, please feel free to share this program on your social media timelines for the greater benefit of everyone. Please be kind enough to share this program. So Bhante Kusala, please give us the summary of this sutta.
Thank you, Bhante, and congratulations on your book release. I see that
Thank you.
a lot of people are beginning to read it. I love seeing those pictures, and I feel a lot of mudita when I see that.
Actually, I'm also very quite happy and surprised to see the great interest that people have reading this book. Even yesterday was the International Kindness Day, and they promoted it. They said this is a timely message.
It truly is, and you have been promoting kindfulness all these years, and to have a book in that theme is really amazing.
Yeah.
It shows your dedication, and of course, it is timely. And like Venerable Tridao said, I think young monks need to learn from you.
We all are learning from each other, no? You all are icons, our icons.
You always have nice things to say. That is a quality I really envy. Anyway, so today's sutta is Kodhana Sutta. It is really a beautiful pick for a discussion like this. Every now and then we keep visiting this subject of anger and how important it is to recognize it as a poison and what happens to our minds when we are dealing with anger. So this sutta comes in Anguttara Nikaya, numbered discourses, and I think it is in it's numbered as 764 in a section called Abhyakata section, undeclared points. So in that you find this Kodhana Sutta. It is translated as the irritable, or by its own name, angry. And when someone is angry, these thoughts can enter their mind, and I think the Buddha has recognized point by point these details and has shared, I think, with also the goodwill toward lay people, wanting them to learn about how poisonous it can be, especially the work that anger does in your mind. Although an angry person may wish these 7 things on an angry person, I think I'd like to hear what Bhante Kamalasiri thinks about this, that I think these are things that we also wish on ourselves by having the choice of anger or choosing anger and wishing them on others. We seem to wish them upon ourselves. So without further delay, let me walk you through the 7 things that we tend to wish on others. We especially think when we are angry toward a person, we want that person to be ugly.
Mhm.
No matter how beautiful they are, in our mind, they are ugly. They may be well dressed, but still ugly. That is one wish we have. And another wish is that may they not get good sleep. You can start making noises in the area, wanting to disturb their sleep. That is a thought that you can have naturally in your mind. And the third is may they not understand what is profit and what is loss.
Mhm.
So that is involving what is beneficial, what is unbeneficial, and also involving material gain. That may they spend overly, may they lose. And going further, may their wealth be taken by the government. That is another wish that an angry person may have. And number 5 is may they lose their reputation. May something bad happen to them so they look ugly on the eyes of other people in newspapers, or in the society by and large. And number 6, may they lose all their friends and family. And number 7 is may they be born in hell. Some people say, may you be well in hell. This is, you think that they are saying a nice thing, but then, that additional word they say is really ugly. So these 7 ugly things, driven by having anger, the poison of anger in someone's mind. And the sutta is exploring them really deeply and coming to some verses toward the end. I think without going further, I will perhaps stop here. Maybe we can revisit the verses and the sutta as we go point by point and learn from it. Thank you, Bante, for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, Bhante Kusala, for summarizing this sutta. And in fact, after pointing out these 7 types of wishful, harmful thinking of an angry person, and then, of course, there are some stances where Buddha talks about the consequences of such a person. So I think maybe later on we can discuss them as we keep going with this discussion. And so I'm just, maybe I have 2 questions for everyone. Now, why, maybe this is a psychological thing, it's a psychology question. Why such a person, angry person, thinks like that, and what makes angry person to wish such harmful things to others, their enemies. And in your life, let's say we monks, of course, you all are doing something. You're doing counseling, you're talking to people, you're meeting all kinds of people. Have you ever met a person who was thinking like that because of this anger? But nobody is raising hand yet, but maybe I can begin with Bante Jayasara from New Jersey.
That works, Bante. I was trying to figure out where to raise my hand. So it's like you read my mind. Yeah, when I read this, I see myself.
Yeah.
I think this is a very common thing. Especially if somebody's harmed you, but if you have some kind of person who you see as an enemy, it almost hurts you to see anything good happen to them. right? We want to feel like there's this cosmic justice, that a bad person will always just have everything bad happen to them, right? And sometimes they're a bad person, but sometimes they have a different political party than we do. They think differently than we do, and we don't want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Right? It's the us versus them, right? The in-group preference that we have. The people who are not as part of our group, who we don't like, if any, we really almost do feel harmed if something good happens to them, because we have this innate feeling that that's not justice, right? That my enemies, only bad things should happen to them. And you don't even necessarily need to be thinking about, may they first this happens, then that like you don't have to be thinking about specifics. You just want everything bad to happen to them and nothing good. And I think this is a fairly normal human interaction. And those of us who've been practicing for many years, we see this in our mind, and we recognize this, and we try not to let it cause us to have harmful actions, right? This one line here: anger creates harm, right? Anger upsets the mind. People don't recognize the danger that arises within. And this reminds me of the sutta called Ugly. And I first heard this story from Ajahn Brahm many years ago. But the way he tells the story, and others tell the story, is actually different. The way I've heard multiple monastics tell the story is that when the yaka goes to the throne of Saka, and he sits down, and the other devas get agitated, and they throw insults at him, and he gets bigger and more ugly. But actually, and it took me a couple of years to really understand this. I really contemplated this. In the suttas, the Buddha tells the story that the yaka sits down, and as they're throwing insults and anger and everything to them, he gets more beautiful. He gets more handsome. Right? And I think what that is alluding to is that feeling of the feeling we get with anger, like we this justified kind of anger that we want to lash out at people, and it can feel really, really good. Right? What does the Buddha say when asked about when asked what does the Buddhas approve of killing? The Buddhas approve of the killing of anger with its honeyed crest and poison root. The Buddha is telling us that nothing good ever comes from anger, period. Because whatever you think is going to be good, the root is poison. Right? So this is why anger should always be something that we, try to be very mindful of, and not to act while we are angry. Because when we are, the Buddha tells us in the similes of the five hindrances, right? The similes of the bowls of water, right? What is a bowl of water when you're trying to see your reflection in a bowl of water that's boiling from anger? You can't. So you don't know what's good for you. You don't know what's good for others. And that's what this line says. An angry person doesn't know the good. An angry person doesn't see the truth. When a person is beset by anger, only blind darkness is left. That's perfect. There's beautiful verses in this sutta.
So have you ever met a person like who was thinking like that to their enemies, like, or maybe in your family, or have you ever felt like saying something like this in your personal life, or have you met anyone who was wishing the same thing?
Sure. Well, beside myself, of course, many people. This is I think that's part of when you're a Dhamma practitioner, you're honest. You see you have greed, hatred, and delusion, right? So, so yes, this is always, even really before I was a Buddhist, I was always leery of being angry. And maybe it was because I was probably a monk in a former life, but I've always been a very calm person. Never been too angry, or at least outwardly. But when I worked in child protective services, I worked with many people, mental illness and drug use, but also just lots of anger. And they're so blinded by it, they don't know a way other than being wrapped up in it. This is and so we as Buddhist monastics who share the Dhamma with people, that's part of our job, is to kind of show them how the Buddha teaches a different way, other than just letting your anger take control.
Thank you, Bhante Jaisar, for sharing your own personal experience. So we have two hands raised, first by Bhante Kamalasuri from Minnesota. Bhante, what do you think of all this sutta?
First of all, I'm so happy. I think Bhante Jaisar, I met him before 20 years ago in person. After that, today I saw online when he was in Melbourne, the Warburton and the Malvern. In this sutra, Bhante Sarnapala also asked that question from Jaisar: have you seen like that person or people? Actually, when we study the most of religious text, religious books, not only the main religious religions, just a tribal or local religion like black magic also, except the Jainism. I have kept the Buddhism out of that. Except Jainism, we can see this. They willing, even in their holy books, to happen this to their enemies. They are from God. Even Bible also, we can see it in the Old Testament. In Vedic literature also, especially in Rig Veda, they ask from their God, destroy all of the cities, all of destroy my enemies, destroy which belongs to them, take off their clothes, their food and everything, don't give space to sleep them. These words, all of these words they have used in their praise. So it has come as a religious prayer. Then I think here, what has done by the Buddha, he has changed it into opposite. Yeah, and he used those same words to explain what is the willing of enemies. Yeah, so, but I think that is the background of this sutta, because it is I don't know I don't know how I say it is natural or unnatural. However, it is in human mind, and mostly the people who are in angry and the fear or any way, they maybe in human life at least one time they have think like this way.
Yeah, I think even in Sri Lanka there is a form of ritual. No, it's called Vaskavi.
Yes, that is the Vaskavi, that is in Sri Lanka, and there is one of Devale in Sinigama Devale.
Yeah.
Near to Bante Kusalas village, I don't.
Really?
Yes, it is.
People go to that Devale. It is not the Buddhist Devale, but people go to that Devale to, what is that? I don't know how to say it in English.
Bante Kusala,
how is it? Miri Sambrana?
Yeah. Bante Kusala, can you explain something, like if you had experience of that?
I think they go and put a curse by grinding pepper, red pepper,
Pepper,
in
chili, yeah.
in
Yeah,
that place.
using ancient technique with the
Mhm.
medicinal.
Yes, they have a stone, and they don't use the actual grinders like the electronic ones. They I've never been there to witness this, so I would not know how to give all the exact details, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it is in African tribal religions also. They also do that.
Hmm.
All over the world, I think it is happening all over the world. I
Mm.
think my understanding it is happening in USA also, maybe in the Washington DC also.
But Bante Jayasara, do you know any such ritual in the United States? Or like where people out of anger, wishing, going to a particular church or temple to pray for the destruction of the enemies?
No, not that I can think of.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of my Italian background too, because my mom was born in Italy.
Mhm.
They do have this like curse, this thing that they do, kind of like it's something about the evil eye,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
putting the evil eye on people. I know that's just not Italy too; it's many countries.
It's everywhere. Evil eye,
Yeah,
evil
yeah.
mouth. Yeah. And I'm just curious whether Charlie would know. Charlie, do you, does American society have such rituals to do the wishful, harmful thinking for the enemies?
Not that excuse me, not that I know of. But they don't, to my knowledge, they don't really have anything to discourage it either.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I know people who have horrible temper, and you know, they say horrible things about other people, and they say it around really religious people, and everybody just kind of shrugs their shoulders. They don't try to say, hey, you know, that's not a good thing to do. I don't think they have a religion or a place to go to promote it, but they have a place to go to discourage it either.
Oh, there is a place in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Or have you visited that place, Bante Kamlase?
No, just only I check in the online.
Okay, just now. Okay. All right. So thank you, Bante Kamalasuri. Next, Bante Shantasobana from Los Angeles.
Oh, thank you very much to all venerable sirs, and it's a very interesting topic. And actually, that when it comes to this black magic, this people go to Sinigama and they grinding this black pepper, and they always grinding it towards the forward. And if we bring it backward, it's going to come back to them. Yes. So they have to be very mindful. And another thing is that with the voodoo, and it's very famous that putting just for human body, when they want to give a pain to anyone's, like as example, like a heart attack, so they put a needle with the mantra to a kind of like making a doll and to the heart. So then the person get kind of like a heart attack and a headache, or if they want to break the leg, they put the needle with the mantra saying the name to that person. And it's a kind of like a very, very famous in some other countries. Somehow this is a very interesting topic because when it comes to Western world, and we know like now 10 years, 20 years back, that people more into this personal development. And we know the book called Secret, and Law of Attraction, and Think and Go Rich. So this kind of topics and the books became world famous. and people more into this regarding this law of attraction and how we can get things and how we can manifest things, how our imagination can become a reality. So kind of like, I think this is a kind of like a very ground-based principle. Through the sutra, we can find out that what we think we become. So then we have to be very careful regarding our mind. And I have seen many people, not because of the anger, but sometimes because of the jealousy. Some people have kind of like a wish regarding other people, may they get ugly, kind of like that. So by the time they are the one who is having it, the reason for that, because in the beginning that Venerable Sanapal asked, why the people think like this way. When it comes to our mind, there are three kind of behavior. It called vipakavarana, klesavarana, and the kammavarana. So the vipakavarana means so far in our life, whatever that we accumulated through our mind or the desires is the very reason to receive in this very moment things with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. So, and the other thing is the klesavarana. Once we receive, to recognize that, we have to have our mental formations. So, and after that, what happened? The reactions happen. We call it the kammavarana. So these three things happen together. So that means the anger or the hatred or the jealousy, this kind of curse, is not happen after something that we experience. So while we experience it happening through us. So then why it happened like that way? Because it already within us. So if we don't have the anger, suddenly we're not going to get anger. So that means every day, sometimes because of little things, and sometimes we neglect our mind or our inner behavior, and we always may be thinking about something, we get disturbed, disappointed, unhappy, sad, worried. So this is very important, because even though that that as we know, that we have in the social medias, we have more bigger platform, people keep watching this. So even though we have different religions, and we live in different countries, and we have many other differences, but still, as all living beings, we have one common platform. That means we all looking for happiness and satisfaction. So then if anybody look for happiness and satisfaction, that person need to understand that happiness or the satisfaction come out of our own inner understanding. Not pushing somebody towards the outside the circle, or as Bhante Jayasaro mentioned, that sometimes I have seen in this Western world, and some people talk about this, the healthy anger. But there is no healthy anger. That as when the Jayasaro mentioned, it's a period. It's not. There's no healthy anger, and the anger is anger. So then, and another thing is, most of people misunderstand this controlling anger. We can't control anger. So we have to understand, and we have to develop antidote. That means the loving kindness, compassion, and wisdom, and make it more stronger than the anger, rather than controlling the anger, and rather than reasoning the anger. So in that way, that we can develop a more better the mindset towards us. So there is a very famous story how this anger happens, how this anger affect for us, the snake and the saw. Snake, there is a snake came to the garage, and then while it looking for food, then suddenly it hit the saw, and he'd get damaged, and he got mad. And so then what he did, it go around the saw and start to tight it, believing the saw attacking it, but it is just a piece of iron. But again and again it get angry, and then what happened, it get tight around the saw, and it got damaged, and then finally the snake died, but the the sow was there, and nothing happened to the sow. So same thing happened to us sometimes when situations come, when we get mad, and we are the one who get tangled with our own thoughts inside our own mind and developing some kind of mental formations. So then we are the one who get damaged. Especially nowadays, as we see in the world, more than the drugs, the war, even the accidents, the most dangerous thing is the anxiety, depression, and the cancer. For the cancer, recently they found out that more than anything, one of the dangerous thing for the cancer is the anger. Because the anger ignites these cancer cells. How it happens? Because as we know, these cells, that atomic and subatomic particles. So the blood is the one, it take all the sugar, the water, energy, and everything to the cell. So when we get angry, what happens? Our blood get heat. And then when the blood get heat, we get the high blood pressure. It breaks down the very immune system of the body. And that is the very food for the cancer. So we have to be very careful with the health-wise even. And even another thing is it affects for our creativity. Whoever study, learn, especially young children. And sometimes now they always look for the comfort. And when there is no comfort, they get disturbed and they get mad. But deeply what happens, it affects for their brain cells and it affects for the creativity. It is very important if anybody look for that better life for themselves. One of the important thing is to manage and understand and develop the antidote for the anger rather than controlling it or rather than believing it is in a positive way. So that's why when it comes to this kind of studies, and we see 2,600 years ago and how the Buddha exactly told us regarding this mind. So we have to understand the mind is the Purana. So then we have our own responsibility to take care of our own mind rather than blaming or rather than depending on others' opinion or depending on others. So when it comes to that, how we can move forward through the anger, if anybody have kind of like a bigger idea, so the higher purpose in their own life to become better person, that become kind of like a ladder, not to respond to this little situations around us, but to move forward. But most of the time people don't have like that. Most of the time people just try to maintain their life just an ordinary way. What happened? Because if the people have that kind of attitude, so by the time these little things can disturb them. And so that's why it is important for all of us to look forward, and rather than just getting tangled with the day-to-day situation like this. There's another story that there was a kind of like a very mean rich person in the city. And he always jealous about other people, and one day he saw this little poor man and tried to build up a business. And this rich man got disappointed and believing, oh, this little businessman, if he get rich, then it's going to affect for me. So what he did, he was thinking to somehow break down the business. So every day he tried to cross his property and try to make some kind of mistake. So one day early in the morning, this poor businessman and start to clean his shop. So then that day he was wearing very nice, clean, this richer man wearing very nice, clean suit. And so then what happened? This poor man made a mistake a little bit, and this little bit dirt went to this the rich man's the garment. So then the rich man took this chance and told, oh, this is the good time for me to stop his business. Told, oh, this is a so expensive shoot, and this is the first time I'm wearing it, and I can't replace it, and you have to pay for this. And then he told, I don't have that much money. I'm just starting my business. But he make a big scene out of it and call everybody around the village and told, see, look, he's very disrespected me, and look what happened. Now he somehow need to pay for me. And then asked how much. He told, give me 5 gold coins. So this poor man told, oh my goodness, my whole business not worth even 5 gold coins. How am I going to do that? So then he told, okay, you sell your business and do whatever, and I need 5 gold coins to, Then there was a man suddenly appeared and asked that how much this your garment cost. So this wealthy man told, it is 5 gold coins. This man told, okay, this is your 5 gold coins. And he got the gold coins. Now whole village in front of this and watching that what going to happen. And this stranger told them, now you have your 5 gold coins. So that's mean it's that you, whatever that you asked, you received. So now your garment belong to me. So give me your garment now. So give me your cloth to me, because now it's belong to me. In front of the whole village, that person became naked. So this means when we try to give a hard time to others, there's a call and kind of like a boomerang law, So somehow it's going to come back to us. So once we know this basic fundamental principle regarding this universal principle, what we need to do, then take care of our mind and have a good thoughts. Cultivate our mind with the good thoughts and with the loving kindness, compassion, then no harm come to us. So it's a very good that basic principle we always need to understand, especially in Buddhism, because there is no any savior, there is no any protector, there is no higher power can protect us and guide us, only our own awareness. And we are responsible for that. For our failure or for our success, we are responsible. So once the person able to take this self-responsibility, and that will help us to have the self-confidence. And through that self-confidence, we can develop self-abilities, and that way we can give a better service to others, whoever around us, and at the same time, other people get the best out of us. So that's, we can have kind of like more self-responsibilities to share our life. So I think that if anybody look for this, nowadays, this very famous, that law of attraction and law of nature, this kind of things, this is a good principle for them. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Venerable Shanta Sopana. You actually told some very interesting stories, very practical stories. So I think people love to hear this kind of story and also personal experiences. So thank you so much, and maybe we will be able to hear more stories from you. Okay, so next I see Venerable Trudeau raising his hand. So what's in your mind, Venerable Trudeau?
Salutations to all of the most venerables and venerables here. Thank you for having me. Happy Katina to everyone. I only had like 30 minutes to prepare for this talk, as with any other talks. So I wrote down some things, some key notes for today. Venerable Sarnapala also asked for some personal stories. And I think previously everyone who looked at me just a minute ago, I was looking to the left. I was in very deep contemplation and reflections upon this very profound topic. As we can see, the rate of hate, prevalence of anger across the United States, across Canada. I always thought that people were just chilling in Canada because it's so cold. But but then all of the crimes against police and the shootings up in Canada really captured my attention and started to have a lot of question marks in my mind. Everyone obviously know Venerable Saranapala is a police chaplain, and perhaps you and I are, I mean, I study police management, so I wanted to become a police officer when I was very younger. And it permeates our society with the existence of peace officers in our world. So, you know, my focus in studying college was sociology, psychology, history. I'd like to dedicate today's talk to my students also, who I would describe them as little gods running around. You know, we all have a difficulty describing God, but my definition of God is, well, it's simple. You give someone a gun and they can play God very quickly. No different than Hitler that we can see, and some of the previous leaders who went very dark, very south historically. And you know, all of my students have been keeping the precepts and holding their generation at bay and not using drugs, not killing, stealing, lying. Today's profound talk gives insight. And I think I'll start off with the story of my father and then myself. I always, you know, my father's actually just a couple feet away from me. I'm at his office. And he was a military intelligence lieutenant. He's always inspired me throughout my entire life, watching him read books. He have a very unique relationship with books. And I always ask my dad, Dad, why do you not have a lot of friends? And my dad says, well, you know, they just waste a lot of time. They just sit there and they just really just a lot of blabbing. And then slowly I get bits and pieces of information during the wartime where he trusted someone and they betrayed him during the war. That betrayal led to his imprisonment as prisoner of war, 7 years. A lot of suffering. I would describe my dad's type of suffering equivalent to Dr. Viktor Frankl, who was in the Holocaust, and he wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. And I believe that, you know, my dad's experience made him a very strong man, and it taught him a lesson on who to trust and who not to trust. Then here comes me, right? The one and only son that he's ever had. And throughout my life, I've also been betrayed. And that is a very deep, profound word, betrayal. All of us have been talking about anger against someone, but betrayal is another level of attack, of personal attack, to see one's downfall. And it's funny. I work these cases in society. I still do these clinical cases. So I knew of a police officer here that got a divorce, and he tells me his wife calls the police department every other month to make up a complaint so that he can lose his job. Obviously, there's enemies there. And my latest clinical case here also had to do with anger, but I lost my train of thought. However, in my life, I have been betrayed by some of the people that I thought that I could trust. Like I was friends with this kid. We were both lifeguards for the city of Clearwater. I drove this kid. He didn't have a car to work every day, took very little money for gasoline. I just wanted him to have a job, and, you know, I thought we were cool. Somewhere down the line, I was appointed a position of leadership, and I don't think he liked that too much. And he was not eligible for such appointment because of a previous domestic violence charge. That led to him watching me day in and day out, stalking my Facebook, doing everything that he could to make sure that I fall. When I read the sutta, and it talks about to bring about enemies' aim, That struck a nerve to me because somebody was aiming at me. Until this very day, they still do, just because everyone knows about that 1 million follower thing on TikTok. But yeah, and then pleasing to an enemy. There we go. I got it now. The latest case that I received here was a civil case where the guy that's suing the other guy, the victim, lost sleep because he was so angry. This was over $600 in this office of litigation that stretched 3 years. And his chief complaint was, Your Honor, loss of sleep. That's why we went from $600 to $5,000. And the judge says, you can't ask for that type of compensation. You can't ask for loss of sleep. So that was the latest clinical case that I have here that made me reflect on the enemy wants you to be ugly, sleeping badly, not profit, no wealth, no reputation, no friends. I'm stuck in the dilemma of the Buddha taught us the Kalyanamitta to find the wise friend. And I think we're here today to teach the people, the lay people, and discuss amongst ourselves. I'd rather walk alone than to walk with fools, said the Buddha. And learn to be alone because not everyone lasts forever. I think that will always be a dilemma in a human's life. Giving the existence of what's happening. And I think the root cause of what's happening in the world of distrust, always thinking at the other person, how do I trust this person? Are they ever going to stab me behind my back? What is their intention? How do I know their intention? The foundation is Buddhism they should have studied Buddhism. Somewhere down the line, families should have introduced them Buddhism as foundation, as the source and root for them to grow up and know the Four Noble Truths so that they don't turn dark. Anyone who studies Buddhism realizes that I know my weakness. I know who I am. I know what I have to work on. No different than the end of the sutta telling us what we should do. And the whole long list that takes a lifetime to perfect. A lifetime. And as you all were talking, I'm sitting here and I'm scratching my head and I go, I can't believe some of these people took great lengths to do what they do. What a luxury of time they actually really have. I think all of us Buddhist monastics realize that we don't have a lot of time. And when the Buddha says, the problem is you think you have time, people who engage in this type of enemies, aim, and wishing badly for someone, just how much time they're wasting trying to wish ill will, cultivating a very dark and deep heart, rather than the path towards enlightenment. But at the end of the day, one thing that you posted, Venerable Sarnapala, was, don't worry, the rotten fruit falls on its own. But for those who've been betrayed in your life, I'm trying to give as much answers as I can and comforting people too. This sutta pokes and prods different areas of the human heart today. When you have an enemy in your last life, perhaps you made enemies. You did this to them. So therefore, in this lifetimes, we have to repay this debt that we experience. And I don't object to that. Perhaps I did something to these people. And now I'm getting the long end of the stick. And that's okay. If this is the debt that I have to pay, then I will pay this debt. Ajahn Chah said this. Ajahn Mun, Ajahn Chah, Ajahn Kiri. When they were in the forest, they said when they were approached by danger of wolves and wild dogs that wanted to eat them, they had this conversation confronting danger, and they said, look, if I did something to you in your last life, if I perhaps killed you, then kill me. Then you can kill me right now, and I'll accept my karmic debt. But if you're not going to do that, please leave me alone so I can meditate. So that's just a little talk on karma alone. Moving forward, I think that everyone can do their part in reflecting, and today is a good day to let go of anger in your heart. I think somewhere down the line, we don't have a perfect family, we don't have perfect friends, or life kind of soured us. But we can see that if we don't let go, the sleeping thing alone, just taking one aspect of the sutta alone, the number 2, which is poor sleep, cause tremendous amount of health problems. And that compounds one's anger, anger on top of anger, suffering on top of suffering, unnecessary arrows in your heart. Why would you want to do that? And forgive and ask for forgiveness. These are some things that we can intentionally do to purify our body, our spirit, or mind. And just constantly practicing metta meditation until one is fully, you get rid of this defilement, this very difficult defilement. I wish my enemy every day that may they recover, may they be well, may they know what it's like not to hate, may they know what it's like to taste nirvana, may they know what it's like to study the Dhamma. I say it every day. I don't hold any grudge for people who've done me wrong. But this was a very profound, and more as I share, I just got to dig in my brain on things. I hope I'm hitting the right spot. We don't have a lot of monastics today, so I tend to use up a lot of time when there's not there. But I like to yield the floor back to you guys.
No, thank you, Venerable Trudeau. Your practical the insights are very interesting, and I think our audience are greatly appreciating that aspect of anger, and how an angry person does the wishful, harmful thinking for others. So as we continue with this discussion, I'm very positive we will be able to hear more from you. So I see Bhante Kusala from Boston raising his hand again. Bhante Kusala, what's in your mind?
Bhante, so I think I like to sort of revisit the summary part and read the verses.
That would be great.
We'll read the verses toward the end, because it has some points that are really worth opening up and discussing. So first I will read and then maybe point at 2 things that I really like in these. I think this is like a manual for monks to memorize, and it's clear when you hear these words that it is really trying to really have an impact in your mind. So let me read. An angry person is ugly and sleeps poorly. Gaining a profit, he turns it into a loss. Having done damage with word and deed, a person overwhelmed with anger destroys his wealth. Maddened with anger, he destroys his status. Relatives, friends, and colleagues avoid him. Anger brings loss. Anger inflames the mind. He does not realize that his anger is born from within. An angry person doesn't know his own benefit. An angry person doesn't see the Dhamma. A man conquered by anger is in a mass of darkness. He takes pleasure in bad deeds as if they were good. But later, when his anger is gone, he suffers as if burned with fire. He is spoiled, blotted out, like fire enveloped in smoke. When anger spreads, when a man becomes angry, he has no shame, no compunction, is not respectful in speech. For a person overcome with anger, nothing gives light. I list the deeds that bring remorse, that are far from the teachings. Listen, an angry person kills his father, kills his mother, kills Brahmins, and people run off the mill. It is because of a mother's devotion that one sees the world, yet an angry run-of-the-mill person can kill this giver of life, that is, killing the mother. Like oneself, all beings hold themselves most dear. Yet an angry person, gone insane, deranged, can kill himself in many ways, with the sword, taking poison, hanging himself by a rope in a mountain glen. Doing these deeds that kill beings and do violence to himself, the angry person doesn't realize he is ruined. This snare of Mara, in the form of anger, dwelling in the cave of the heart, cut it out with self-control, discernment, persistence, right view. The wise would cut out each and every form of unskillfulness. Train yourselves, may we not be blotted out. Free from anger and untroubled, free from greed, without longing, tamed, your anger abandoned, effluent free, you will be unbound. So this is the translation from Thanissaro Bhikkhu. It talks, I think this is to be memorized by every person and recited daily. And I'm sure at some point in the past, this may have been part of the daily recitals for monks. That said, you see, this talks about several things. Suicide is one of the things, that a person who is suicidal is also an angry person, angry about oneself. So that anger is so big that it can kill oneself. You know, some people are angry that they can't even get themselves to a killing point, that they are angry with themselves, thinking, you know, oh my, I can't even kill myself. You know, that can cross their mind, and they get disappointed that they can't even, you know, I'm a coward, I can't even kill myself. That can, you know, that can happen in a person's mind when they are depressed. You know, we cannot tell by looking at the person if they are angry or depressed, because in one moment they may be dancing and happy and smiling, taking pictures and, you know, hiking and climbing, doing all the activities that look like happy activities. But in another moment, they may feel very depressed, very sad, angry, and will suddenly kill themselves. So this is why that training the mind is so important, and that it has to be a continuous practice that can be life-saving. And the poison of anger has to be removed by, it is easier said than done, of course, but the sutta talks about the ways to overcome anger. Having right view toward anger is very important. How it arises, how it is not yourself, how it is a condition that can arise when other conditions are present, and that when those conditions change, it is no longer present in you. Seeing this and avoiding anusaya, underlying tendencies, the sleepy nature of anger, is very, it is a courageous act. A noble person does that. A noble person does this real good help to oneself by seeing that anger is sleeping in me like a sleeping snake, and then it can It can wake up at any point and attack myself or attack somebody else or destroy your own property or wealth or something. People smash their cell phones out of anger. And minutes later, they realize that, it is, you went out of control and it is harmful to oneself, but now you spend money on, like people smash their cars out of anger. People kill other people in their own vehicles out of anger. And then, after surviving these massive decisions, they regret it badly. They live the rest of their lives trying to recover from that loss and that moment. It is really hard for them now that there is that darkness in them that they don't know how to overcome. When the incident is created, it is hard to overcome it. And I think I like to also bring a third thing here that, I wouldn't call him a friend, but I know this person who's angry with his mother because his mother owns a property of his family and she's not selling it, and she's not giving, she's not selling it and giving the money of that property to him. Because of that, he talks badly about his mother, and he's not able to look at her as his own mother. It's really abusive language that he uses when he's talking about his mother. And I told him, you are not my friend if you talk about your mother like that with me. First thing you should do the next day is to call her and apologize for all the bad things you have been telling her. And it doesn't matter whether she decides to give the property or half of the property to you or not. She's your mother. She has given you this life, and have a positive image about her in your mind, because it is beneficial to you because of the hard work you do. You don't know how much life, how much time you have, and you don't want to die with this much anger in your mind. It is poisonous for you. It can devour you at any time, and therefore get rid of it soon, because you are also teaching your own kids how to treat you by using this kind of language in your family, toward your wife, toward your children or anyone. It's not just his own mother he has anger toward. He also hates his wife. He hates his own life, virtually everything about him. So this is very harmful. And this is clear from the suttas like this, that we need to read them, reread them, and stop at every single line here, and bring the value of these teachings to the public. Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion, Bhante Kusala. I think maybe in the past monks could have done the daily chanting of this sutta. I think anger is one of the three poisonous roots, right? Dosa, like lobha, dosa, moha. And as you just told that story, the person who was very angry with his own mother for not selling the property and giving the money to him, that is, of course, the greed, right? The greed, if whatever you're craving for, or whatever you want, if you're not getting it, then of course that gives birth to this tremendous anger. And this is happening with the moha. And when people have this state of delusion and live in ignorance, that they don't see the truth. I think that's the very reason why I think the Buddha said, sammaditthi, having the right view, is very important. So that is part of the panya wisdom. Even I know when people are in trouble, go to court and to get the clearance, when they go, the one thing the judge tells them to go for the anger management, right? So they had to spend some money for the anger management. They had to bring the letters from the counselors. Even here, people come to us to our meditation sessions as part of anger management sessions, and then we had to write a letter to the judge saying this person has realized the mistake, and now this is not the person who used to be some time ago, but it's a new person. So so they believe what we are saying, right? So I think that's very important for people to understand the consequences of harboring anger and doing this kind of visual thinking. Bante Kusala, you want to say more?
Yeah, when you were talking, Bante, what came to my mind, I think it's worth sharing that, you know, young people love other young people, and when that love is not reciprocated, they hate that person. And I think the point is that if they truly loved that person, they cannot have that hate, and they cannot. I've seen recently, I saw a video of a very good looking young man going to a place like Senigama Devale and grinding black pepper, making a wish that may my girlfriend, who pretended to be with me, will never have a lover ever in her life. So that kind of wish, and others were, you know, commenting and joking about it. But I was wondering if he truly loved her, he would never do that kind of thing. If that is a very selfish love, that is, you know, that you loved that person for what you wanted from her, and that the true love is very, very, very sublime and very different from that kind of love. You know, some people, you know, there's this other story. This monk was sharing a story of a couple agreeing to kill themselves by hanging, and the girl and boy tied a rope up in a tree. Please never act upon these words. And the boy and girl hugged each other and cried, and the boy jumped, and the girl saw how the death happened to the boy, and she got scared, and she removed her rope and she walked home without even telling anyone, without even calling for help, without, you know, that you see how that kind of love is very, it does not have any lasting ground. It does not have any good support. It is based on selfishness, desire, and it is actually you loving yourself, you loving what you wanted from that person. When that ends, there is no love anymore. So it is lust driven, and it's very temporary, and it does not last at all. People live as married couples for 50, 60 years sometimes, and all they learn is to hate each other. I have, you know, told the story of, you know, when couples bring dana to temples, they have lived for a long time, and I say, you know, especially they are trying to celebrate their wedding anniversary. I say from the Buddha's teachings that, you know, those couples who have same precepts, they keep same virtues, same ethics, same wisdom, same generosity. They tend to be born again, and the wife suddenly says, "No, Bante, I will never wish that upon our our, you know, our marriage." They don't want to meet again. And I thought to myself, you know, what kind of hate they must be dealing with, in, you know, although they chose to live under the same roof, but that kind of frustration is developed. I think it is best to go in separate ways and not hold that much anger in their minds if there is that happening to you. So I think the point is true love. You know, what is true love? Understanding that is so important in your path toward awakening. Suttas like that, this will help us in that understanding. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm just okay. Venerable Trudeau.
Yeah, thank you, Venerable Kusala, for all of the examples there. It broadens our understanding of the sutta. Yeah, I think nowadays kids take it really personal, the rise of gun violence in school, the existence of that in school. This is why it's tantamount that we install Buddhism in grade school as early as elementary, and then middle, and then high school, to ensure a more peaceful world in our society. I mean, just not too long ago, where the parents they forwarded the text message from a school in Ohio that told the parents that we found another gun. This was a month after an active school shooting at a football game. A month later, they found another gun in another student. So, these guns are just everywhere in our school. Kids these days take things very personally. And there is a new type of evil that lies and resides deep in their hearts. Very difficult to detect within the parents, because the parents, all they know is work and to be the good provider. But if the parents don't practice dependent origination, then how could they apply the view of dependent origination within their own child? Right? Which I want to bring awareness back to the links of influence, the 12 links of influence. But to say simply and practically, again, links of influence. This is because that is, and this can't be because of that. Okay, if that didn't take place. Okay. And if we go through the pain, I mean, it's painful looking at anger, and it's painful admitting to one's anger. I mean, I'll be the first to say that I was a very angry young man growing up. I mean, my father was a lieutenant intelligence officer. I mean, he commanded like 50 people. So of course he's going to pass on some genes to me. That's going to be really grumpy genes to me. But he told me that one day I looked in the mirror and I'm like, Dad, what's going on with my eyes? And my dad said, they're really bright. We have a problem with those eyes. And I was like, oh God, what? And my dad says, when they're too bright, they can burst, just like a light bulb. And that he was hinting to me that that's your anger. And if you don't learn to control it, you're going to explode and burst. And it's not a good thing. And I get these messages from time to time in my childhood. And when I decided to ordain, I realized that I'm done. I am through. I promise that to myself that I will do what needs to be done. I will practice what needs to be practiced. I will study what needs to be studied in order to conquer anger once and for all. And I think it's quite evident now that my eyes aren't like back in the day where they were like 2 light bulbs. But it's an amazing victory. I would say I would never sit here and say, yeah, I have conquered 100% of my anger. I would honestly tell all of you that I would probably conquer the 89% of it. But it is a victorious victory deep in the heart, because one went through anger in order to see anger in other people, to help other people. And yeah, we can see everything that Venerable Kusala read just in that short paragraph. That short paragraph one could reflect on and write in your journal for like 4 months. You can write this, you can reflect, you can meditate on that whole entire poem for like 5-6 months and let it sink into your heart and see the consequences of it. It's very severe consequences when loved ones stay away. They're scared of you, they're afraid of you. Everyone is having fun. You walk through the door and they can feel your presence, they can feel the anger. Your energy introduces itself before you introduce yourself. And I think all of us in touch with our intuition knows that when we're in public and we see certain people walking in the bus or train and we realize, oh, oh, this is not the day to be near this particular person.
Yeah.
But going back to the Buddha taught us to go through the pain, to go through the pain one last time and resolve it one last time. The defilement, the anger, the greed. And once you have looked at it, examine it one last time, and you're honest to yourself and you're humble. The practice of the anatta, and a promise to abolish this skillfully. I think that's one of the greatest gifts you can give to yourself, and one of the greatest gifts you can give to your family, and the greatest gift you can give to society. I think at some point in people's lives, they feel I am too insignificant to make a change. No, you're not. No, you're not. Just imagine all of the people that you ran across in society, the receptionists, the person at the gas station, those people that were once mean to us or not happy, or the unhappy police officer, or an unhappy judge, or an angry lawyer. Imagine if they were not angry that day, if they were chill and they dealt with it in a chill, calm, collective, mindful, kindful way. What an awesome outcome it could have been for the people that was involved that day. And we can use that more and more each day with each and every single one of us. And, I just wanted to remind people of the methods of the practice of dependent origination, the practice of anatta lakkhana, the practice of the non-self, and bring back the humbleness in all of us. For myself, I was once Catholic, and when I saw the priest break the bread of Christ, when they break the bread, this is the body of Christ, this is the blood of Christ. And there was a archbishop who taught and said, when you look at when they break the bread of Christ, you tell Christ to also break you. Give Christ permission to break you. And what does that mean, break you? Break your body? That means break your ego. It's the fortification of our ego. And I think all of us can examine that, to be honest to oneself, that I am right. I am always right. Well, would you rather be right, or would you rather be happy? Are you going to do the right thing, or are you going to do what you really want to do? These are some thoughts of reflection at the end of the day, that all of us can reflect on in order to be a better person, a better Buddhist, a better mother, father, sister, sibling, and so on. But I just wanted to give my last contribution before the end of this discussion, is that I think all of us have the capability to be a Buddha, the Buddha nature inside all of us, no matter how angry you are. We look at Angulimala, that was one angry man. This man killed thousands of people and then hung their thumbs around his neck. I mean, just imagine that type of an anger and the joy he got out of that anger and displaying that publicly. I mean, when we look at that, examine, okay, but he became an arahant. I'm pretty sure people who are listening, I know you guys are not killers, but at times we are who we are. But in Buddhism, assert that you can change no matter where you're at in life, and no matter how many people you have hurt or people have hurt you, you have the capacity for sainthood.
Yeah.
But thank you for having me once again.
Thank you very much, Trudeau. And I see Jessica asked the reference of the sutta. This is from the Anguttara Nikaya, the Sattaka Nipada Sutta number 60, known as Kodhana Sutta. And last reflection, and I see Venerable Shanta Sobana raising the hand. Venerable Shanta Sobana.
Thank you very much, Venerable Sirs, again. So what I want to share, actually the most of time that why we get angry, because we have, when we have strong desires, and when we have too much hopes regarding something, and with the self-centered mind, that leads us to get disturbed or unhappy. That trigger most of time that anger. And so mostly, rather than forgiving, we precondition ourselves. I am angry. So kind of like that. We kind of like, we don't want to change ourselves, and we hold it to it. We again and again, we put the identity on us, believing, oh, I am get angry, I am a mad person, like that. So that ignite more and more, and to get into anger. And people nowadays we see in the world, and sometimes people don't kind of like trust this loving kindness or the forgiveness. Like and when the Nelson Mandela, when he forgive everybody, and a lot of people told him, and why you do this, don't do this way. So like, because even we are in 2023, even we came through many experience through our human existence, there are a lot of people still believing in anger. So they don't see the consequences or the negative result of the anger. Still they believe the anger is something we should have. But we have enough that evidence around us, even ourselves, to know that anger is one major thing that make us blind. That there is a very good story come from martial art, because when we practice martial art, our masters always tell the same stories. And, it's always practicing martial art means that we develop ourselves and we conquer our own anger. So, and there was a very famous movie called This Last Samurai. This Last Samurai movie, based with there was a very skillful samurai called Miyamoto Musashi. He was the best samurai that in Japan history, the last one. So the Miyamoto Musashi always win fight. So what the technique that he used to do, he kind of like allow other person to get angry. So one time, and he won a fight with the little piece of wood, and the opponent had the 2 iron sword. So it was amazing, and everybody was shocked how this person win this fight, and how it happened. The Miyamoto Musashi, the other person challenged Miyamoto Musashi and told, okay, I want to fight with you. And Miyamoto Musashi accepted. And then the city came to one place. So this opponent came with the 2 iron sword and very sharp. And he was waiting, and to beat the Miyamoto Musashi. And Miyamoto Musashi used to come on time. But that day, in purpose, he didn't come. He was hiding in a bush and looking at this guy. And he was so get mad, and he disappointed, and he got angry. And then the Miyamoto Musashi came with little piece of wood and beat him. And then he won. And then the Miyamoto Musashi gave a good lesson. It doesn't matter what you have in your hand. If your mind is dark or unbalanced, you lose. So look at the world today. More than any other time, we have all the machines, technology, the science, the educations, all the best facilities we have around us. But still sometimes we are not capable to get the best out of our own life, because the darkness that we carry within us. So it is better ourselves that we find the light with the loving kindness and compassion, rather than hold it to the anger.
Yeah. I think that's a good story. Thank you, Bhante Shantasobana, for telling us the samurai story. It's very powerful. And my last reflection of this sutta, when an angry person makes such harmful wishes for the enemies, let's say, may this person be ugly, but that person is not going to be ugly. You're going to be ugly by doing so. May this person sleep badly. That person is going to have good sleep, but you're going to have bad sleep by doing this. May this person not profit. That person is going to profit anyways. You're going to lose your own profit through this anger. May this person not have any wealth, but that person is going to have a lot of wealth, maybe inherited wealth, but by doing this harmful thinking, you're going to lose your own wealth. May this person not have any reputation, and of course, if that person remains calm, he's going to have more reputation. You're going to lose your own reputation through this anger. May this person not have any friends. If that person is full of love and compassion, that person is going to attract more friends. You're going to lose your own friends because of your own anger. And when you wish, go to hell, or as Bhante Kusala said, may you be well in hell. I think I love that. But we Buddhist monks never wish, may you be well in hell. We had to wish, may you be well in the heaven. But through this anger, you're going to go to hell, not that person. And I think this was a very powerful sutra, as we all highlighted. This sutta should be recited every day and reflected every day. So we had such a very productive discussion today on this sutta, and I'm very grateful to all of you. Now, I would like to respectfully invite Bhante Nanda from Long Island, but today he's joining from Pennsylvania to recite the Ovada Patimokkha verses for us today.
Thank you very much, Vantes. Wishing you all, Vantes, and everybody happiness, success, and longevity. I'm going to recite the Ovada Patimokkha right now. Sabba papassa akaranang kusalassa upasampada sacitta pariyodapanang etang buddhana sasanang Kanti paramang tapoti tikha nibbanang paramang vadanti buddha nahi pabbajito parupagati na samano hoti Parang viheta yang to anupavado anupagato pati mokke cha sangvaro mattanyuta cha tasmin pantanca sayanasanang adhicitte ca ayogo etang buddhana sasanang
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhante Nanda, for beautifully reciting all the Patimokkha verses for us today. And may all blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha be with you. And I'm very grateful and thankful to all of you, all our venerable monks and our devotees who joined us on Zoom platform, who watched us on Facebook and YouTube Live. In fact, I see from the comments, people are greatly appreciating our discussion. And through this discussion, the people are finding hope and light. And I think this is the best thing we could do for the world, to reduce hate and anger. And by doing this discussion, we made a lot of merits. May all these merits and wholesome energies be of help to all of you and to us to live a happy and peaceful life. Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta. May all sentient beings be well, happy, and peaceful. With this metta wishful thinking, I'm going to say good night from Canada. I'm hoping to see you in 2 weeks' time. Be well. Bye-bye.